The primarch was an abomination, even by the standards of warriors who had seen their own father hideously changed by the transformative energies of the great ocean. Vistario felt aether fire pulsing within Fulgrim's body, his ability to manipulate its energies massively powerful, yet unsubtle. Swords glittered at his midsection, and his eyes roved the chamber, taking the measure of the presented tableau. How long had he been watching and listening? In the centuries since the Battle of Terra, the Phoenicians' behavior defied rational understanding or a sense of predictability. Magnus himself had given up any form of prognostication concerning his brother's actions. So how could Vistario even begin to predict what Fulgrim might do next? "Ancient," said Fulgrim, sliding over the floor with grotesque, peristaltic motions. "You look terrible. A disgrace, even." "What has become of you, my primarch?" said Rylanor, his horrified disgust clear even through the degraded quality of his voxcaster. "You are a monster." "Says the scrap of ruined flesh maintained by grotesque machinery," said Fulgrim, circling the four of them. His pale eyes were pearlescent orbs without pupils, soulless, and devoid of anything that had once made him great. They regarded the warriors before him with only a passing interest. "Why does Magnus send his broken sons to Istvan III? Did you learn nothing from the wolves' destruction of Prospero? My hermit brother should know by now that his meddlesome curiosity only leads to disaster." Vistario fought to find his voice, always a problem in the face of a primarch, doubly so in the presence of one so altered. Yet, even though Fulgrim's appearance had changed so terribly, pangs of longing stirred within Vistario's breast. "We heard his message," he managed. "Too bad for you," said Fulgrim with a grin, taking in their predicament. Murshid still hung like a limp fish within Rylanor's grip. Vistario was covered by the assault cannon, and Akatar stood immobile, his weapon trained unerringly upon the dreadnought sarcophagus. The Phoenician approached Rylanor. "So, old friend," said Fulgrim, "you have my attention. What is it you want me to hear? And do try to make it diverting. After all, you've had millennia to perfect it." Rylanor dropped Murshid and used the wheezing, grating limb to push its carapace upright. Vistario saw the muzzle of the assault cannon track away from him, following the primarch's movements. He eased his mind into the warlike enumerations, letting the power of the great ocean into his flesh. "Be ready," he sent to his brothers. A flash of thought only. He felt their understanding as he flexed his psyche in readiness for wielding his powers. Conflicting visions pressed upon the meniscus of his mind, shredding bullets and mass reactives, fire and an unstoppable tide of virulent destruction. The omens are not good. Dust and rubble fell along Rylanor's armor like sand in an hourglass. Fresh portions of the smashed objects beneath the dreadnought's body were revealed, and humming power cables ran from Rylanor's sarcophagus to an open control panel. Vistario felt his blood chill as he finally understood what it was. "Has it truly been millennia?" asked Rylanor, his voice stronger now, coming from a long time ago and filled with infinite sadness and patient regret. "It has," said Fulgrim, moving closer. "Think of all that time wasted, all the glory unearned, all the victories denied. Rylanor gave another grating bark of laughter. Glory? You think I sought glory? How little you understood of your own legion. Yes, I have indeed perfected what I wish you to hear, said Rylanor, as Fulgrim reached out to touch him. And though I am sure you will find it diverting, it will not be me that says it. Fulgrim's grin faltered as he too saw what the dreadnought's body had obscured. No, he said, as if he thought he could stop what was about to happen with a word. Yes, said Rylanor, sending an activating pulse of energy to the armed warhead of an unexploded virus bomb. Vistario saw the moment of detonation a fraction of a second before it happened. Instantaneously, he beheld a vision of the explosive spread of the Life Eater virus as it consumed them, dissolving like frost beneath the sun. He saw their doomed bodies transformed into replicating flesh refineries, in which the hyper-evolving viral strands mutated and found ever more inventive ways of destroying organic material. All this he witnessed in the space between life and death, the most fleeting glimpse into an inevitable future. But a fleeting glimpse was all an adept of the Corvidae needed. Actar! Already in the blunt, pugnacious enumerations, Actar was unleashing his power even as the detonation circuits of the virus bomb triggered. The casing shattered as the explosive heart of the bomb cracked open, and the isolated viral compounds mixed with the precise amounts to catalyze the unstoppable reaction. Fire bloomed from the warhead in a torturous, slow motion, lapping around Rylanor's sarcophagus like low-grade, viscous promethium. I cannot hold it for long, cried Actar, his Raptora powers stretched to their limits in holding back the explosion. Vistario reached out with his mind and poured his power into the warrior, feeling Murshid do the same. Fulgrim laughed as the creeping death slid slowly over the dreadnought's body. Is this it? He said. You sought to draw me here to kill me? Rylanor triggered his assault cannon, but, fast as quicksilver, Fulgrim caught it and crushed it before he could fire. No, I don't think so, said the Primarch, effortlessly ripping the arm from the dreadnought's body. Sparks flew from the ruptured limb, and Fulgrim gave the weapon a dismissive glance before tossing it aside. You betrayed us, bellowed Rylanor. Your sons. You led us here to die. There is no forgiveness for that. None. You must die by my hand. The Emperor's justice will fall upon you. Not even Fulgrim the Illuminator can escape the Life Eater. Fulgrim leaned in close to Rylanor and shook his head. You wish me dead, he said, scathing pity dripping from every syllable. Why? Because you think I betrayed you? The Legion? Oh, Rylanor, your thoughts are so narrow. If you could only see us now, how beautiful we have become. We shine so brightly, each of us a brilliant sun. Fulgrim reached down, sliding his bare hand inside a rent torn in the dreadnought's armor. He smiled, closing his eyes and letting his tongue slip across his lips as he pushed deeper inside. Ah, there you are, said Fulgrim, as Rylanor's Voxcaster grated in fury. Wet and wriggling. I can feel your panic. It's delicious. Rylanor's power fist swung around, bathed in fire. It struck Fulgrim on the shoulder, but Akhtar's psychic force was not simply confined to the Life Eater's detonation. Fulgrim laughed off a sluggish attack, and one of his lower arms drew a glittering sword of alien origin. The blade sliced in a cruelly precise arc, cutting through the fiber bundle motivators and servos. Rylanor's arm fell limp at his side. Vistario watched the viral fire spread over the dreadnought's carapace, slipping inside his buckled plates of armor. Rylanor did not care whether he lived or died, only that Fulgrim went with him. "Do not do this," barked the dreadnought. "Why not? I am your master. I can do whatever I like. I can crush you, or I can raise you up. Return to the Legion. Accept the gifts of the Dark Prince, and you will walk by my side, clad once again in flesh. You can be anything, old friend. I will sculpt you into something beautiful, a god to these mortals." "Never! All we have left between us is that we will die together," roared the dreadnought, the upper portion of his carapace burning with blue flames. "I am Rylanor of the Emperor's Children, ancient of rites, venerable of the Palatine host, and proud servant of the Emperor of mankind, beloved by all. I reject you, now and always." Fulgrim laughed and said, "I'm sorry. Did it sound like I was offering you a choice?" The Primarch wrenched his hand from Rylanor's sarcophagus, dragging a slopping mess of fluid and matter with him. Glutinous ropes dripped from his fingers. He was like a midwife holding a mewling newborn. Ruptured cable spilled amniotic fluid so stagnant it must have surely been poisoning Rylanor with every passing second. "I will remake you, brother," said Fulgrim. "You will be my crowning achievement." Though his body was little more than rags of wet meat, Vistario sensed Rylanor's horror at this last violation, an inescapable destiny where he would become that which he hated most. "What do we do?" The question was Murshid's, and the connection between the Thousand Suns was so strong that the Athenians' perception for emotion spread to all three of them. Vistario felt Fulgrim's infinite malice, his cruel enjoyment of Rylanor's anguish, and the helplessness of the Thousand Suns. The Primarch of the Emperor's Children reveled in his overweening pride, a trait Magnus had more than once told Vistario had been present long before his fall. But more than anything, stronger than even Fulgrim's spite, Vistario felt Rylanor's pride and honor, the unbending core of greatness that had set him against his brothers and seen him descend into obsessive madness beneath the surface of a dead world. Vistario took the measure of Fulgrim, seeing nothing worthy in him. His warriors felt the moment his decision was made. "Primarch Fulgrim," sent Vistario, "Rylanor deserves better than you." The Primarch looked up, his once bright eyes now black and filled with the darkest poison. "He deserves better than all of us." He raised his bolter and fired a mass reactive into the back of Akhtar's skull. The Raptora's head exploded, and with his death, the psychic force holding back the warhead's detonation ended. Vistario saw fire, and once more, all life burned.